Madam Deputy Speaker, more widely, I talked a few weeks ago about how the Prime Minister was steadily being mugged by reality, and we've seen this again in the last few days with the government's U-turn on the ban on sourcing photovoltaic cells built with slave labour in China. But the same can, I think, be said for its energy policy as a whole, and it's important to put that in front of the House. The Labour 2024 manifesto promised to cut bills to boost energy security and to create cheaper zero-carbon electricity by 2030, accelerating to net zero by 2050. It tried to allay public concerns by promising a phased and responsible transition in the North Sea that recognises, and I'm quoting, the ongoing role of oil and gas in our energy mix. Now, 9 months on, we can see how that's going. Government's already had to U-turn on its infeasible commitment to zero-carbon electricity by 2030, but most recently, the situation with British Steel in Scunthorpe has underlined the deeper incoherence of its overall approach. By banning new oil and gas licences and preventing new exploration, the government is committing the UK to greater dependency on imported oil and gas at higher cost, with higher emissions and under less democratic control. In so doing, it is not advancing environmental justice or economic resilience. It's accelerating a decline in energy sovereignty that will leave this country more polluting, less secure, and ultimately poorer. If we do not produce our own oil and gas, we will have to buy it. The difference is that it will come from overseas, and imported energy is not only more expensive, it has a far higher carbon footprint. If I may remind the House, liquefied natural gas, for example, involves cooling gas to 160 degrees below zero, shipping it thousands of miles from Qatar and regasifying it at port in this country. The net emissions are up to 4 times higher than from North Sea gas. Crucially, UK territorial emissions go down, but overall emissions, including imports, are higher than they would be. This is not an honest policy. Labour's manifesto talked about the importance of energy security, but refusing to allow new exploration does not reduce our vulnerability, it increases it. Energy, after all, is national security. It is industrial strategy. It is heating your house and fueling your car. The idea that a major economy should voluntarily give up control of its energy supply before alternatives are well advanced is not progressive, it is reckless. But the problem goes somewhat wider. The government talks about a green industrial revolution, but the more expensive imported energy we have, the harder to achieve that will be. Not just steel, but chemicals, ceramics, fertilizers all require large amounts of gas and will do for years to come. If energy is unreliable or unaffordable, these industries will continue to struggle, whatever the fond imaginings of the Secretary of State. Worse still, the government's policy will squander capital and skills that might have gone into safely managing the UK's remaining hydrocarbon assets. The extra revenues will help fund that would help fund the transition will now be lost to the many other countries that welcome such investment, while the government turns its back on a sector that still employs 200,000 people and contributes billions in tax revenue. Madam Deputy Speaker, let me conclude by asking whether the Leader of the House shares my view that we badly need some common sense here. We all want an effective and a just energy transition. But that starts with one principle: control what you can, use your own resources responsibly and transparently while building the clean energy system of the future. Instead, the government has chosen a path that will increase emissions, raise costs, weaken the economy, and tie Britain's future to foreign powers and volatile markets. That is not leadership, that is an abdication.